What up? This is Up Next, and I'm Rob Dollars. And this is the final segment of episode 5. I can't believe we're already at 5. I just started doing this. Anyway, this is the comeback segment. And this is where I give you Rob Dollars 2 cents on what's been going on in social in the sports media realm. Because I do watch a lot of sports media TV, and so when they say things that are outlandish, I want to have the space and opportunity to let them know they sound ridiculous. But I also do take some time, hopefully, to big up folks, because there are a lot of guys out there, and all these guys again, they're amazing people. So I'm not trying to sound too derogatory. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a high level of respect for people in their craft coming from Rob Dollars at all times. So take it with a grain of salt, folks. Take it with a grain of salt. So again, this is a shorty episode, so I'm gonna get into it and just try to run right through, get y'all in and out, so that we can move on. Because again, there's that Pro Bowl action. If you ain't seen it, go watch it. There's plenty of NBA going on yesterday, today, all that. So, good things, good things. Well, let me get going. So on the Get Up, they've been having a lot of conversation over the last few days about the draft. And I have been reluctant to talk about NFL football that's not actually being played until after the season's over. Very adamant and upset about that during the early phases of the playoffs when coaches were being wooed away by other teams. And I'm like, these guys are in the middle of freaking planning for one of the highest and most important games in their careers right now and of their season for sure. Why are you all trying to distract them? So very annoying to have off-season football being talked about while football season has not yet ended. I want to stay focused. But the draft is coming up in the future, very close. And, of course, the big name on everybody's lips is Mr. Caleb Williams. So, we'll see how that prospect goes. I love that there is a system and an opportunity for young talent to be highlighted and to be given a platform where we can see, just what might be coming our way, what their potential is. But I also coach that with a big asterisk for myself, because it is that potential. And until the potential is fulfilled, you really shouldn't just be gung-ho. You got to have a temperament that says, I believe that you could be something great, and show it to me. You can't just be like, oh, I've already seen you, you're amazing, I can't wait to see more. Like, you gotta, when it comes, the elevation to the pro level is real. So not going as crazy about Caleb Williams as everyone is right now. Plus, again, I really think people are silly, because the amount of times that high draft pick quarterbacks have busted so far outweighs the time that they've actually been the right pick and successful, that the fact that people put so much stock in getting these top talent guys in such high draft positions is like, I mean, I get it, because you don't want to pass up on a generational talent opportunity, and then later on in the season you look like Boo Boo the Fool for letting that guy get away from you when you could have picked him up. So there's the whole contentious thing about, again, making the right picks, making the smart picks. Caleb will be a smart pick, I think, but at the same time, he's got to be given the opportunity to grow in the league. I feel bad anytime rookies get just thrown straight into the fire. So Caleb, good luck to you, because unfortunately, in all likelihood, you'll be in one of those situations where, your name is already so big that without question, they're ready to just throw you right into the fire. And you're going to be on a team that needs a starting quarterback for sure. Because at the end of the day, what we have right now going on is Chicago is the number 1 pick. Now, of course, they have Justin Fields, and there's been a lot of speculation. Will the Bears move on from Fields to bring in Caleb Williams, or will they shop the Williams pick? And I mean, honestly, if I'm with the Get Up crew here, I'm with Big Swagoo and the former GM. Oh man, why can't I think of his name? I keep wanting to say Mangini. He's not Mangini. It's another guy that's on Get Up. I'm gonna get his name right. I apologize. It's not coming to me right now. Same with Louis Riddick. Lou is on the same page with me as well. That the idea that Caleb has got some kind of control over this situation is hilarious. You got the Washington Commanders, who have the, I believe, number 2 pick in the draft, going out and getting Cliff Kingsbury as their OC. And it's weird because it kind of looks like it's a move that's very similar to what Denver did when they were trying to entice Aaron Rodgers to come over, where they hired this guy who's supposed to be his friend in order to make their destination look more attractive. Washington, you can make your destination look as attractive as you want to Caleb Williams. He has zero decision-making power in where he's going to be. Zero. Okay? That kid is going to be hopefully amazing, but he's going wherever Chicago wants him to go at this point. That's the bottom line. And so, again, Washington, I mean, I don't know. Cliff Kingsbury, his history is very, you know what I'm saying? And again, the crew, they definitely highlighted how his whole thing is more about relationships than anything else. He's connected with and associated with quarterbacks who have become great, or not great, good NFL quarterbacks. But his participation or his part in their development, highly questionable. So again, it's an interesting scenario with the Commanders because I want to see what happens with them as well, because they've kind of had some hit and miss activity, but more so it's about Chicago, and will they hold their, cards, or are they going to just, whiff on it, and pass up on the opportunity to really elevate their squad? Because right now they hold a really big chip, and we'll see how they turn it around. I personally think that and this is also, again, me in agreement, which is weird, right? I said I was on here to let you know what they do wrong, but this time they got it right, because I am in agreement with them that Chicago as an organization, it's not like they've been doing great for their quarterbacks. They definitely did not put Justin Fields in a position to be a winner. So I am questioning whether or not they'll be able to do that for Caleb. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some point you've got to figure out who you're going to put your trust in and give them the opportunity to truly work with over time and develop a young player. You can't just keep swapping in and out offensive coordinators and head coaches and think a young talent is going to blossom, because you're introducing them to too many new factors every single season. So again, we'll see how this goes. It's very interesting the watch that little factor. But we'll move on. Because again, shorty episode. So I'm gonna go one more item, and that's from First Take. I mean, from First Things First. Excuse me, not First Take. First Things First. And I have to get in here. They had a conversation on how big is the gap between Mahomes and Purdy, and the conversation is one that I personally don't necessarily think should be happening right now. I mean, I understand what's happening. They're facing off in the Super Bowl. They're two teams, you know what I'm saying, and all that. But first and foremost, quarterback versus quarterback scenarios are always silly, because guess what? Quarterbacks don't actually play each other on the field. The quarterback of this team plays the defense of that team. They don't face each other. So it's not really quarterback versus quarterback. But we understand how important they are and how they are seen as the leaders and the pivotal figure on the field for success. So I'll allow it, and we'll continue with the conversation. How far is the gap between Purdy and Mahomes? Now, obviously that gap is very significant. Purdy he hasn't had the time yet. We're gonna have to see what he becomes. He's a potential, whereas Patrick Mahomes is a proven commodity at this point. I mean, anybody who's questioning his value, his ability to be a force multiplier, a game impactor, you're not watching football, or you just are a terrible evaluator. We should just totally disregard anything you say, because that guy is it. Okay, he is an it, as in one of ones in the sports world. So it'd be silly to think that the two of them right now are truly comparable. Until Purdy actually starts really achieving more, he can't. You know what I'm saying? Be compared properly to Patrick Mahomes. But I gotta throw shade at Nick, right, man. Nick I feel like he doesn't know how to accept truth, first and foremost. He's gonna spin numbers and facts in a wheel as many times as he needs to, but he's never gonna admit any kind of wrong or defeat. Like, it takes empirically unrefutable evidence for him to back down from anything. And his position on Brock Purdy is one of the reasons why I feel like people still underestimate him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's really just a Nick Wright and a handful of people type of thing. But I hear it too often, just the belittling of the work that Brock Purdy has put in. You want to allow him time to continue to flourish and show us, and to give them the opportunity to achieve, you know what I'm saying? But just based on what you've seen from him, acting as if he's not a really good quarterback, acting like he's not an impact player for the 49ers is ridiculous. Acting like he's at some kind of super advantage because he's got other players around him is ridiculous. Guess what? You're a good team, you've got other good players around you. And some of those good players, if they're able to become great players, that's when you achieve greatness. That's when you go ahead and win you a chip. So I'm looking forward to seeing Purdy continue to move forward, prove these doubters wrong, shut people like Nick Wright up, because again, he doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? My real crux against him right now is the fact that, again, like during the season, you know, when the Niners were humming along, his whole thing was, I want to see him come from behind. You know, sure, he's good when with all his tools there, he needs to be at a disadvantage. Well, he had a game without Debo, went out and won it, and he's like, nah, that's not good enough still, because he still had Kittle, he still had McCaffrey. Like, so you want him to have nobody. You want him to be on a desolate team and somehow win. Let me tell you right now that that's not something that is proven to be the path for like 80-something% of players. There's a rare set of people who take, again, and elevate the average player to a good, maybe great moments player. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Tom did. That's what Brady did. He didn't have the high caliber guys. He had the guys who were willing to go out there and work. And he was willing to work with them. And he pushed them. He pushed them to be as good as they could be, and created moments when they actually looked great. But you're asking Purdy to do that? That's what you need to see from Purdy in order for you to call him a good quarterback? Patrick Mahomes didn't have that. Patrick Mahomes didn't just lift up the Chiefs all by himself. He had good players around him that became, some of which became great players, like Tyreek Hill, like Travis Kelce, and other good players who have had great moments. Acting like he did it all by himself, like he just lifted up some nobodies, is ridiculous. And that's the Nick Wright perspective, is that it's all about Patrick Mahomes, and until Purdy can basically do that, he's not it. You're overestimating what one's done, and you're undervaluing what the other has done. It's very disrespectful, sir. You should really get off that. I mean, again, because the gap between the two of them really is about the achievements and the legacy part. I mean, if we're talking about this season performance-wise, you can't knock Purdy's performance. You can't say that he did worse than Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes clearly had huge struggles throughout the season. So if you look at this season, you definitely can't be like Patrick Mahomes has been the better quarterback thus far throughout the season. You could say he could potentially have the better game on Sunday, but he has not had a better season at all. And the idea that, again, we would compare him, Brock's legacy, which has been this year and 4 or 5 games from last season, to the legacy of Patrick Mahomes, like, why would we do that? That's just dumb. So comparing the legacies is ridiculous. And looking at this season, you got to be honest and say Brock's ahead right now. And it's just a matter of on Sunday, whose team comes out and plays the best, who plays with the most heart, who's hungriest. That's what we're gonna find out on Super Bowl Sunday. So, Nick Wright, get your shit together because you sound silly. Okay, you sound silly. You are doing the wordplay thing. It's fun, I guess, to see on TV, but it also just makes me kind of a little bit annoyed and disgusted from time to time because, again, your intelligence shines through when you speak on a lot of topics, but it's like as soon as Mahomes even vaguely enters your mind is connected to it, you just become a manic idiot who can't help but ride that man's nuts like they're the most comfortable freaking e-bike ever. I don't know why, bro. I'm a fan. I'm a fan. I bleed green. But I'm willing to say when my team is not doing its best. I'm willing to say which players are shining and which are not. I'm willing to be honest about evaluating my team based against whoever the competition is. You got to be more genuine, more authentic with your evaluation. Your breakdown is too skewed. Take off them glasses, the Mahomes Ray views, you know what I'm saying, and come down to earth. But listen, I rambled on enough. That's the 2 cents from Rob Dollars on the sports media world, and the end of episode 5. Yo, more fandom coming at you on the next episode. I don't know. I'm gonna try to still work in a pre-Super Bowl episode where I can get some of the fandom to come through. We'll see how that goes. If it does happen, it will drop on Saturday. I will be posting some updates on FB, and again, hopefully I can get some more of these social media sites opened up so I can drop things on there as well. While I'm closing out, shout out to one of my OGs, Coach Willie Mays. He do be holding it down throughout the season, hosting watch parties up at the Carver. If you from the Bean and you've never visited or checked out the Carver, I highly recommend it, especially on a football night. The coach is a great host. They do raffles. They have a DJ that plays, DJ 911. Shout out to you. He be dropping the mix during commercial breaks and during halftime, so you don't got to be inundated with sales stuff from the TV. You could just enjoy the game and talk football in between the breaks. So it's very relaxing atmosphere, very friendly atmosphere. There'd definitely be a little bit of trash talk, so bring your smoke. Just make sure you keep it cool, keep it humble. We all here to have a good time, and they do that very well up at the Carver with my man, again, my OG, Coach Willie Mays. Super Bowl Sunday watch party. I'm gonna be there. Hopefully you will too. Holla.